Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Robertson Stash, place where we talk about life and the pursuit of glass. I'm Matt Robertson. I'm here today with my co-host, Sean Callahan. What's up, dude? And we have a very special guest here today, the one and only, the very talented Kim Thomas.
Thanks.
How are you, Kim?
I'm good. Everything's great.
Yeah, so let's talk about collabs.
Enough small talk, really.
Let's get this podcast rolling here.
Let's rock.
So me and Kim have made a few collabs in the past.
Okay.
And I guess we brought one out here today to kind of talk about it. What's your favorite collab or favorite part about doing a collab, would you say?
My favorite part about doing collaborations. Well, honestly, I don't really collaborate a lot. And I prefer to work alone. But
You have full control that way.
Yeah.
On
And
what
I
you're
mean,
doing.
yeah, I have full control. But a lot of times it's like I just have like my own agenda and my own ideas.
a
So
lot
I
to
kind of want to just work
Coordinate and collaborate.
Yeah, and that's the other
Sure.
thing. It's like I prefer that I be in the same room with the person that I'm collaborating with, and that our work, our both styles of work are going to mesh well together somehow.
That's important.
I think that's so that would probably be my favorite thing. Is maybe the outcome is probably my favorite thing, like seeing,
Finished product,
the finished product. But working with somebody that you really vibe with
Can be super fun.
it was really fun. Yeah. So, like when we worked together, that was really fun.
That was great.
And the first, the first collab that we did.
Yeah, that was the Popcorn Sutton whiskey maker.
Yeah.
What's not whiskey? Moonshine.
Yeah,
famous
moonshine maker. And then that was kind of like the warm up for this one.
Yeah.
I felt like
truly.
that one, it wasn't necessarily easy to make, our first collab, but
We were more in our comfort zone, I think.
Exactly.
On the first one.
And then this one was just like not.
Yeah.
I think we were kind of sweating bullets for.
It was good, though.
Yeah,
It was so rewarding to see it finished. And
So that's what I'm talking about, is like when you are not sure whether a piece is going to come out, or you're at that, point where you're like, oh God, why did we decide to do this?
I think there's like a certain level of like adrenaline you get when you're putting this together.
Even when
like,
you're working by yourself and you're like, oh God, this is like really difficult. And it's like the same thing when you're working with a person, but there's that other personality and that other, level of, I don't know, danger, I guess, in a way. And putting those two things together.
Unpredictability, maybe.
The unpredictability.
Like who knows
about
what this
it.
person's going to do? Is he going to sneeze and then the whole piece is on the floor?
Yeah, because we had a couple of those moments, I think.
Did we? There was some couple of challenges we had to work through.
Challenging moments.
Yeah, but we made it happen.
Yeah, and that turned, and it's like something that, we never, like, I don't know, there's no other collaborations like this.
No.
So.
And how did this come to fruition?
What were we doing? How did we think of this? We were talking about.
Oh no!
Yeah.
You know what? It was. Really was looking for a Honda Ruckus bike on the internet.
That's right.
And I was seeing like these slammed ones that are all like done up with like nickel plating, and they look really cool. And then I was like, let's make a Honda Ruckus, and then it kind of started from there. And it's like this scavenged.
Yeah. So I basically make things like I take like junk, and then we'll build contraptions out of them. That's like kind of the premise of my work without going into it too deeply. And so this was kind of like making a little bike or, some sort of, vehicle.
Yeah.
Out of like,
found little parts like the mailbox on the front.
Is kind of like perfect idea for me.
So that was supposed to be a Honda Ruckus.
Well,
isn't really supposed to be
this guy
a
has
Honda
no money,
Ruckus?
but maybe in his mind when he was pulling parts, he's like, this mailbox would look perfect on this Honda Ruckus-esque kind of bike.
Like like you know, everybody
it does have the same
inspiration
shape
things.
as a lowrider,
it's got a
Honda Ruckus
lowrider kind of bike, but
the chainsaw engine.
We had like Honda Ruckus in mind, but we're not like, oh, let's make, you know, like people do that inspired by work, but they really see something and then they just try to make that thing. We're not trying to do that. We were like,
we like
we like Honda Ruckus, but we want to make it like the way like my Honda Ruckus. So you just, you know, you change things. It's just like, that's what the definition of inspired by is like, it was inspired by this, but we were not trying to make an actual Honda Ruckus.
No, exactly. Yeah.
We're trying to make something cool. So
that's very interesting because I've owned Honda Ruckuses before. And I've seen back when I lived in Austin, people would take the entire body apart and you would just have this bare bones, kind of like the bottom part right there.
Yeah, like the frame.
Yeah. And they would call it the
frame.
They would call it the Mad Max version.
Yeah. It's kind of what we were doing.
Yeah.
That's dope.
And he's got the little fire extinguisher comes out. That's where you put the joint in.
So when you guys put this piece together, who did what?
Well, Kim was working on the bike and I started working on the giraffe. We put the pants on them. Kim kind of carved those up for me. But as we were both making each component, we were kind of like sizing them up, making sure they fit, making sure we're going to put the right arm in the right spot. And so for a period of the day, we were both kind of working on our own part. And then, you know, when it was all coming together, we actually had to attach the two pieces. And that was a whole new level of you're not even, it's like an out of body experience, really. Because like, I kind of don't even remember it, but I know like
that it happens.
You're so focused when that happens because you have to attach like 5 different spots. And
and then I'm standing here with the mini torch. He's holding it, and we're like
pretty exciting. Part of
doing
the process.
all kinds. Yeah, that was exciting. And then he's all sweating and being like,
breathing super funny. I'm like,
really hard and like probably not breathing at
probably
certain
holding
point.
my breath and like almost passing out.
It worked.
And then it goes in the kiln and you're like, it's just like sense of like relief. You listen for a second.
Yeah. But the kiln can't save you. If you've done it wrong, then you just
and if you hear a little tink, then you got it. You know it's not a big tink, and you go back and you fix it. And you know that happens when you make a piece.
And with this kind of piece, like stuff basically cracks all the time, and then you just have to go in and fix things, like, you know, as you go.
And it's easy to fix with like this, like kind of structured. All the components. It's not one big vessel where you're gonna have to. Yeah, you have to like really blast through it or anything like that. Baby. It's just because we had a couple little checks. Yeah, there was like a little thing, but last time I got it hot, like I think I repaired them all. Just little places where a little check. It's like totally normal for that kind of thing. Yeah, to happen, for a piece with like so many different components, and then just the style in which I work is a little avant-garde, I would say. So it's just plus it's glass. Like glass naturally wants to be like a ball. And that's when it's happy. And when you start making these like sharp edges and all this stuff, it kind of causes. It freaks out. Yeah. You have to train it. Tell it where to go. Keep it really hot or don't keep it hot. Follow the rules. Some rules.
Tell us a little bit about the style that you like to work on.
My style?
Yeah. What's your style?
I don't know what to call it. I mean, I feel like it's just, I don't know. People ask me that and I have no idea what to say.
Well, what about your pieces that you just made and you're posting? It's like these like collections of like stuff you find in some old abandoned house. Or something. So it's like I don't put really together and like presented like a still life or something in it. So, I mean, it's not necessarily a style I would consider. It's just, so I mean, I make like kind of just common objects, so like a mailbox or like a broken television. We've made some shovels before. Shovels, the rake, traffic cones. A hoe. We made a hoe. Yep, lots of hoes. But you know, it's like kind of stuff that I see. It's like, you know how there's a lot of construction right now, so there's all these like
traffic cones everywhere. And I was living in Detroit, and they say there's like 2 seasons, like winter and construction season.
Yep.
So there's
From
traffic
Canada, they say that
yeah,
in Canada
exactly.
too.
So there's just all these traffic cones, and then they're all new for a little while, and then at a certain point they're just like trashed, and then there's these pile of traffic cones, and it's just like junk.
There's
just
some
like
beauty in
mad
that when
junk.
it's all
Yeah, exactly. So there's just all
stacked
this,
together.
like, stuff laying around. Old chairs. I like old chairs a lot. Those plastic chairs that break really easily. I think those are really fun to make. But
Do you know how you bring those back to life though?
you like
With
heat it.
Torch.
Yeah.
A big fluffy torch. And like,
Yeah,
the
and it,
ones
like,
that are sitting out in the
remelts
sun.
the-
Yeah, like look brand new.
Yeah.
We could
So
facilitate that.
I mean, my work is kind of based on junk and baggage, and people having like too much stuff, and just things that I see all over the ground. And like, what? I would see like a lot of gas cans for a while, and then I started seeing bottles filled with piss for a while. So there's just lots of stuff, and it's like kind of weird, like what people do, like underpants. Like, why are your underpants?
It's like, what was the story before that person dropped off
Yeah,
that gas
exactly.
can?
That's
Like,
what I'm really interested in, is like, this collection of stuff, but there's always like a story behind it.
That's
and,
cool.
Just the thing, like, we as Americans have like so much stuff, and
we got a trash problem.
and it's not just like, you carry baggage with you emotionally and all this stuff. So
That's deep.
yeah, maybe.
On so many levels.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't really, my style is, I just make what I want. I'm just going to make what I want. And that's it. I mean, I don't really have like a name for my style of working, but.
You should create a name like,
Why?
like Baroque or like,
Oh, yeah.
whatever, like something like this is called, like trashism or something.
Trashism.
I don't know. No, that's something more.
Industrial realism.
Yeah, I guess so. It's like industrial type of. I guess it is just like kind of. It's not like completely real though, because in a way, I feel like you don't need to really make things. It just needs to have like the essence of realness, and then your imagination kind of like fills in the whatever parts that are missing. But I do pay attention to details. I think. A lot of the time.
With making the object and
and then
drawing it with glass. Like,
exactly, and then like looking up pictures, or even sometimes like not sometimes, but researching what the thing, like how it was invented, or the
That's
story
really cool.
behind
That's cool.
like fairy tales and stuff, because I made these little shoes on cinder blocks, and it was like a glass slipper, because like Cinderella Cinderblock, and then I was looking up like the history of the fairy tale, or the story and everything. So
it's based off a
well,
real
that
story?
particular piece was the little sneakers on cinder blocks.
It's like the
Cinderella glass slipper is a pun.
Yeah.
More than anything else.
It kind of has this steampunk metallic type of feel to it that is always just super fun to look at. And
that's the thing. I was like, steampunk. People always say steampunk, but I never. What is steampunk really actually?
Is that like
about?
Mad Max kind of style?
in that ballpark for sure.
All right.
Not,
With a little goth, maybe?
yeah.
It's totally.
But it's got the rustic metallic and lots of what looks like just real dust.
Well, these are real nails in here.
yeah.
Are
It's
they?
real
These
nails.
are
Yeah,
real-
they're
real
steel
metal nails,
Steel
yeah.
nails. Well, steel and borosilicate are compatible, to a certain point.
That's a sweet piece, guys.
Thank you.
And when did you guys make that?
I don't know.
It's probably
In the
this
pound?
year, right?
Was
it
it? No.
2022? There's nowhere to sign it on there.
I don't remember. I remember doing things, just don't remember when they happened.
Or did we sign it?
I don't think we signed it.
It's a good way to go about
It
it.
doesn't matter.
It was our
It
second
exists.
one, basically.
It
yeah.
exists. Like, do we really need to have all that other information?
Like a date and our names on it? No.
Exactly.
No one else is going to make this.
Yeah,
like this.
exactly.
We got photos of it.
Yeah, there's photos, and it's real. Like, well, in the Matrix, right? Is it?
I think so. Let me touch it. Yeah, it's real.
So, I don't know. I mean, I know that we. I don't remember when we did this. It was. Yeah, I don't remember.
You were just moving No, you weren't even like decided you were going to move to Denver yet. You were like on the fence, and I was like,
I wasn't on the fence.
Trying to talk you in every day.
Yeah.
Of the collab, basically. I remember.
Basically, you and Kyle
always
do that. Look, you got your wish. Now
I know.
It happens.
Yeah, that's true.
Do you guys have any advice for people working on collaborations, or maybe how to get into a collaboration?
It's like magical. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah, I think okay. I'll think of something to say. Probably just go with the flow if you're going to work with somebody, and kind of like let it happen. Like start brainstorming and then think of something. Don't just do the regular, let me stick my thing to your thing. So those tend
like
to be
a predictable
collab. Very predictable. But I mean, it's like, it's difficult for
sometimes
people to be
those are
unpredictable.
Good like warm-up ones.
Yeah.
If you're working with somebody like...
Yeah, maybe start like with a theme, or...
Maybe figure out who you want to collab with and think about like a sweet project that you know, would
you'd be interested in.
To both
somebody
parties
that
involved
you really want to work with, I think is probably the most important thing. Because like I said, like I like working with Matt, I like working with Coyle, Zach P, Peter Muller. We had like really good times working together. And
who didn't you like working with?
I don't know.
No, we don't have to go into that. We'll cut that part out.
No, but it makes a big difference, like who you work with. Because
you trap those vibes in the piece.
Yeah,
almost.
Exactly. So if you like each other and you're having a good time and you vibe well, and you're making jokes, and even if something goes wrong, nobody's freaking out. Everybody's like, okay, like we can fix this.
Staying calm during a collab is, I think, an important thing to do. Because if you have somebody freaking out and like that stressing you out, it stresses both people out.
And is not good.
Yeah, no, you gotta remain calm. Everything's gonna be okay.
And I just think it's just like, okay, we're both really good at this, so we can figure out whatever situation needs to be figured out. It's not going to be that difficult.
Do you prefer to do collaborations in person?
Yes.
Always.
I feel like there's no point in collaborating if you're just sending stuff to the mail. It's like, unless you like talk about it and like have this like great plan and then work all those things out. But like when you're with a person, sometimes like you'll have, like an epiphany or one of these like, oh, this is what we should do. And it turns, oh, sorry, I just spit when I said that. But it turns into like, this like really interesting
spontaneous.
experience.
It's like, it's not predictable. It's like,
but collaboration is about the experience too. It's not just like what you make. It's like how you make it and what happens while you're making it.
That's like the best form of collaboration, I would say.
Exactly. So
mail order ones just don't have that same magic.
They don't have that. I mean, I guess they
sometimes
could.
You got to do what you got to do. You got to pay the bills. You got to...
Yeah,
but
you gotta make money. But
in-person collabs,
in-person collab, I think, is the best way to do it.
I agree.
To me,
what would you guys tell an upcoming glassblower about getting into collaborating? What if they're just waiting to get to that point in their career that they want to start reaching out to other people?
I feel like you got to get on people's radar, maybe, and then you come up with like your own great idea. Work on your skills. What do you think, Kim? It's kind of.
I think. Why is it? Well, number one, why is it important for you to collab with somebody? And
it's a great question, actually, because
like you have to ask yourself that, like, why do you want to work with this person?
Is it a clout thing? Is it like, like get more followers on Instagram?
If that's the reason, then you know what? Okay, go ahead, do it. But if you're like, I really admire this person's work, and I think that we can make a really solid, interesting piece, and I like you as a person, and I want to work with you because I think you're cool, and you'll probably think that I'm cool too. So let's do a project. And if I guess there's probably some other reasons that I'm not thinking. Well,
say an idea for something, and maybe they had like birds. One of your ideas needed a bird, and maybe you found your favorite bird maker, whoever that could be, and you're like, let's do this together. Like, instead of making your own bird and putting it on there.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know.
I guess.
I'm making a dinosaur soon, so just because I fucking love dinosaurs, dude.
It's gonna be a thing.
An awesome one.
I mean, I just think it depends. Like, if you want to have a project with somebody that you think is going to turn out really well, and you like their work and you think that it goes well together, then absolutely. But if you're just
go after it.
Yeah, go for it.
Go for it.
But if you're like, well, you're like way ahead of me in your career and
I need this.
I need this to push my careers. Like, do you just want to like ride
Throw me a bone.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
Do you just want to ride somebody's coattails?
Yeah.
Or do you
ask
actually
yourself that?
Yeah. Like, or are you doing this from an authentic and genuine position? You know, like because it's going to be good or because you want something from somebody else. And that's lame, I would say. But that happens. And if that's what you're into and people are into, then okay, sure, do it. But, you know, there's also a thing where you might get turned down for that reason also, you know. And plus, like, you just want to be good at this on your own before you approach somebody. I mean, if you guys are at the same level and you like working together, then yeah, that's cool. But I mean, if you're just doing it for clout, then I guess it's suspect.
Yeah.
But if you're
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah. But I mean, also too, like working with somebody else, you learn some stuff.
Every time, usually, even if it's the tiniest little thing about their tools or whatever, little tiny trick, like how they reheat pizza, you know,
that could be
in a frying pan. Obviously, it's the best way.
Maybe.
Well, first you microwave it for 30 seconds and then put it in the frying pan, and then it gets crispy and cheesy hot. Yeah, it's good.
Cheesy hot.
Like melted cheesy hot.
That's some good advice.
You could even flip it in the pan, like toppings down, and then you get this whole like golden brown GBD thing going on.
Is this how they do it in Canada?
I learned that from America, actually. I think maybe even like doing a collab with somebody, like pick that up along the way.
That's good. So it's not just glass related. You can learn so many other things besides stuff about making stuff out of glass.
Just from spending time with somebody on that deep level.
Deep. So deep.
Well, Kim, where can everybody find your work at?
What do you mean?
You have a website, an Instagram?
Yeah.
Like
yeah, that's true. I do have a website. I kind of forget about it.
ZII.
No. It's Kimberly
in Canada.
Well, that's not my website. It doesn't have.
I was thinking your Instagram.
Oh, my Instagram is iRockZii. iRock, IROCZII. Like iRock is in the car. And then my website is kimberlythomas.art. But I do have work in a couple of museums right now and gallery. So that's the Wadsworth Athenaeum in Hartford, Connecticut. There's a show called Fired Up, Glass Today.
And you just went to the opening?
I just went to the opening for that. And it's not just flame working. It's like a whole spectrum
of glass. So like film casting, all like studio glass, everything.
It's a really interesting show.
And it has Picasso's in this museum and all this. That's awesome.
It's a really nice museum. I mean, don't just go see the glass show there.
You told me it was the oldest one in America.
Yeah, that's what they said.
Crazy.
Isn't that really interesting? And then I have work in at the Delaware Contemporary in a show called Through a Glass Darkly. And then I have a piece in the Wayward Gallery in Chicago. Just one piece. So.
Very cool.
Very cool.
Yeah.
It's been some wonderful insight on collaborations.
That was good. Yeah, I think we dished out some info and had a nice little conversation about it.
Cool.
Whether we do we have any ideas for the next collab we're gonna do?
No, not yet. That has to just materialize, I think, on its own.
Now that you're here in town, maybe it'll be happening soon.
But we can't do too many collaborations. You know,
this one needs to sell, then we'll do our next one.
Yeah, we'll sell this one and then we'll do the next one.
Well, this one's going to sell tomorrow.
Yeah, obviously. But yeah, I don't, sometimes
this was an expensive one because we spent like 10 days on this one.
Yeah, this one took a long time to make.
A lot of.
But I mean, it's like fun to work with somebody also, but I feel like you can kind of like wear it out and then you don't want to like over.
Are you talking about you and me?
No. Just talking about collaboration in general. You know, that's my thought on it.
Yeah. Do you think the market has anything to do with like if not people do collabs because then they're like double for one piece and it's like usually
I mean, for a while in our market. Collaborations were selling, I think, a little better than solo pieces. And then because they're like one-off and, for us especially is like kind of rare, and I don't really collaborate a lot. And then, we've only made the two.
Yeah. And some little accessories too,
yeah,
right?
And accessories and things like that. But it's just I guess, the market has to do with a lot of things,
high gas prices.
Yeah, high gas prices and but as far as making collaborations, I think that they're probably sought after because of the rarity. It's not like this is going to become a production piece or anything.
Maybe like a 3D printed one.
Not even. But
not about that.
Why would we?
We could sell it in like Walmart. Like it'd be a toy. That'd be a cool toy.
This would be a cool toy. And then the original
would be breakable, and then the kids could play with the.
Yeah, this would be a cool toy. But I don't know. I don't really see
we'll
that
talk
happening.
About that in another episode.
We'll talk about it some other time. But I think people like them because there's just never going to be another one, and then they can kind of have like their two favorite artists working on a piece together.
Yeah, I think that's appealing to like somebody who likes two artists and then they collaborate. That's my piece. I gotta get it.
Yeah, I think that's the draw for collaboration in a certain way. But then there's like our Molten Art Classic.
That's
like a really big piece.
That's with like 20 plus artists usually every year.
Yeah, I think they were going to make the thing a little bit smaller this year.
Well, Hoops has the toy of it, like the Hulkbuster toy. Like,
yeah.
So
we'll see. That's coming up next month, so I'll be going to that. But those are like big, expensive pieces. But something like this. Probably a little bit more affordable to a certain extent. This took us a long time, so we did put.
We were charging by the hour on that one because
I don't think so. No. We've been a lot more than that, right?
I'm not sure.
But we did have fun, and I think it came out really well. And I think that is the most important part about making a collaboration is the experience, and then. How well the piece turns out. And I think this was probably one of the best I've ever done, for sure.
Wow. Thank you, Kim. I agree, too.
Yeah, I really like this one.
It's definitely
I think it's
a special piece.
Yeah, it was really fun.
Well, thanks for coming in today, Kim. Yeah. It's always a pleasure to see you.
Yeah, no problem. I had a good time.
Awesome. Should we drop the website?
One more time.
RobertsonGlassArt.com. You can leave a comment on there and we can start dialing this in a little bit more.
Cool. All right.
We'll go ahead and sign off. I'm Sean.
I'm Matt.
Kim.
We got Kim here in the house. We'll see you next time. Thank you.
See you.
Robertson Stash.
Bye-bye.
Later, guys.